Hopefully now it's okay. Can you guys see me now? Oh, sorry. Okay. Thank you for the feedback. I thought I'm already live. So I've been talking already for 4 minutes. Right, so we will take a look at Cascadeur's latest release. Thank you for the feedback, yeah. And we will take a look at the new features, but there is a PSA before we start that just a couple of minutes ago a new fixed version just came out that you can already download. I won't use this version because I didn't want to update right before the stream. But there are fixes for the FBX import and the Unreal Engine for Mannequin. So it doesn't matter for this stream, but yeah, I recommend you update. So I also prepared a couple of scene files if you want to follow along for each main new features. You can get it from Gumroad, that's in the description. Yeah, so if you get the files, you will see like this, and there will be Cascadeur scene files for the viewport tangents, in-betweening, constraints, for mocap, a couple of videos that I recorded yesterday, and yeah, it's not the best quality, but it worked kind of well. And also ballistic interaction, so hopefully it will be okay. And yeah, if you want to follow along, download them, and if you are watching the stream after it happened, I will put time codes or timestamps so you can jump between the sections and only look at the parts you are interested in. So I think we can start with tangents, because that's the most, I think, the biggest improvement, or the one that is new. And if you guys have any feedback about this format, let me know. If you followed along, if you downloaded any files, because I'm not sure how to cover this in the future, the releases. I think this could be interesting, but yeah, let me know. So there are now tangents in the viewport, but currently it's only a beta version, I think, and it has a couple of limitations, but it's already really useful. I only tested it a little bit, but yeah, you can use it for impact frames that we will see here. So first of all, the limitations are, thank you. It only works in point controller mode. It won't work in auto posing mode, and it only works with specific points that I color coded in this scene. So the feet, the wrist, and the pelvis. And you need to select an interval so you can see the trajectories. If you don't see it, you need to enable it here. And then go to trajectory edit mode and then activate the tangents. And then you will see these tangent lines. It's not the most visible. You can change the color of these in the settings, but it's good enough, I think. And one thing that I think is really useful is impact frames, because if we look at the first part of the animation, for kicks and punches, it usually slows down before the impact, and in real life you would want to be the fastest before the impact, so this point should be further away from the impact frame. And you could do this by adding keyframe before the impact, but you can also do it with the tangents. So it's quite hard to select here, but the purple one is there. And one thing that's really great, I think, is that you can use it in local mode. So if you want to increase it but keep in the same direction, then you can just use local mode and it will stay aligned. So this way it should be faster before the impact. And it's already visible that the feet, because of because of the change, it only changes the position of the ankle. So the feet doesn't really move with it. I think it's visible after the kick more at this part when putting down the leg. So if I check this section and I would want to change the tangents here, something that's really annoying is when there are these small changes, then the point and the tangents are at the same point. So now I'm changing the point and not the tangents. So I need to click a couple of times to be able to change the tangents actually. So I think, yeah, now I'm changing the tangents. And if I do something like this, so now the feet is moving in the ankle is flexed quite a lot. One way you can fix this, and the only way I found, is in the object properties you can enforce FK in interpolation, and then the feet will be correct. Right. Also, you can reset the tangents. If you only want to reset one, you can right click and you need to select it first and reset the tangents. And in the UI, it's visible. If a tangent is set, it's visible with a dot. You can also reset it with this button. I think it resets the whole selected interval. Yes, correct. So I think these are the main things. Yeah, you can also copy and paste location, which is, for example, there is an extension in this animation or exaggeration, and it has a bit of interpolation, not that much, just 2 frames. And if I wanted, I could I'm not sure what this is, the tangent. So I could make sure that this tangent is exactly at the position where this feet is. So I can just copy the global position of the ankle, then select this point and paste it. And I've selected not the tangent. I have selected the tangent, but I selected the incorrect tangent. Yeah, so yeah, the visual representation is a bit hard to find. So yeah, you can copy paste the handles. I think it's more convenient than the graph editor because you are connected with the character. I usually found that it's hard for me to understand that frame 12 is the contact frame, then 15 when only looking at a graph. And you need to handle the XYZ curves independently. So this is something more, you're not disconnected from the animation. So what about the other points? There are different type of points, like the direction points, and yeah, if you want to change a point, you need to get out of trajectory mode or unlock the trajectory, because trajectory edit mode automatically locks the point that is selected. And also, if you want to keep the selection, you can use this button. And then if you only click on one frame, then it won't deselect it will keep the whole trajectory visible. So these the handles in this kind of direction points won't show up if you are in trajectory translation mode, but there is now this new direction trajectory, and you will get the handles in this case. So it's already really good for cleaning up the animation. It's quite hard to follow if you are in this mode, but you can select a point that you select the point that you are viewing, and then here you can center this and it will be centered. Oh, sorry. I selected the trajectory, not the actual point. So maybe I can hide the trajectory for now to make sure that this is selected. I will center it and I will lock it. And now if I play, it should be centered. So I think this is the best way to, if you want to clean up a direction point. You can also clean up these direction controllers, or the, I don't know what it's called, the targets for the IK, but these are not color codable, but actually it's possible with the node editor. We will try it later because the node editor was updated quite a lot as well. But yeah, for now only these direction points are orange. And you can only look at these points. I don't think you can see trajectory for other points. Tangents, I mean. I also haven't talked about this L, or linked tangents. Maybe you are familiar with it already, but yeah. What did I do wrong? Why can I not see the trajectory? Because I'm in direction. Okay, direction mode. So now it's visible. So if I disable the linked, then I can move the tangent separately. This one is the most visible. When the leg is pulling back, I will disable the following because it's clearer this way. Sorry, it's when the leg is coming up, then you can maybe at this part, I want it to go higher. I found that local mode is more convenient for me when working with tangents, but global mode is better if you want to copy and paste poses. Right, so now the leg would go higher, and at the beginning it's not changed because it's not a linked tangent. I really like this new feature. It also makes it more convenient to follow along other tutorials from Blender or Maya because they heavily rely on cleaning up the animation using the graph editor, and it's the same logic for me as the graph editor. I will look at the chat if there is anything. The visual aspect can and will be improved, and it looks super amazing. Yeah, I agree completely. And yeah, it's especially hard if they are really close to the point. It would be nice if you could if you could choose to select only the tangents and not the points. But yeah, they always work on improvements a lot, the developers. So I think this is all about the tangents, and I have two scenes for the in-betweening. One of them is to show that it will now recognize tangents from, if you are trying to merge two animations, like in this case there is an idle and then there is a walk cycle. So now it will look at the tangents at this last frame and on this first frame, how it will continue, and it will try to more seamlessly blend between the two animations. And yeah, there is also this fulcrum motion cleaning, so it will automatically clean up fulcrum points, or in this case the feet, so there won't be any sliding. Yeah, I think it should be generally turned on as it is by default. So if I select the interval and generate the frames, it will seamlessly blend. And I think it could be a really awesome tool, because for games you need to generate or animate a lot of starting to work, work to run, and run to stop animations. And if you could automate this process of having an idle, then you give the forward walk, backward walk, and how fast you want to blend or how many frames you want to blend, you could automatically generate the transition animations. So it could really speed up the workflow of animators. You just need to get this part of the animation and make it in place, so they start to work. And yeah, that one also could be automated. So I'm quite excited how this can be improved, what the community can come up with also. Right. I also have a couple of other animations in this file. Second one is an idle to sidewalk. So I can again select the frames and generate it, and it's quite seamless. It's really good. And the next one is, I think, a run animation, and then it will stop in the idle animation that we used at the beginning. So this is how it looks, and then it goes forward. Select the frames. I have 30 frames for blending, or 29, but around a second, and it will stop. So yeah, this is I think it's really cool. So this is one use case, and the other new update is that it has I think 8 different motion styles. Let me drink a little bit. So if you look at the scene settings, there is a new in-betweening section, and there is walk, run, crawl, jump, fall, and acrobatic and combat animations. And I wanted to test it. Also, my favorite new feature is this button at the bottom, is that you can now also vertically adjust the timeline. So we have different characters for each type, so we can compare it better. For the first one, I only use the default pose, and then the same default pose but a little bit further. And if I want to put the outliner here, it's a bit laggy with this file because there are 800 frames. I cannot customize it. Anyway, I want to go to tree view, list view actually, and look at the center of mass, because I only want to generate I want to generate each character with a different style. So first of all, I will use the any for the first character and generate it. Yeah, this file is a bit more laggy, but it's quite fast. Then the walk animation I want to generate with a walk type, and this is a great way to compare the animation. We will have examples for each one. Some of them work better than others. I haven't changed to run, right? Yes. Look the UI. Oh, thank you. I haven't noticed that. So I can, I want to put it down here. I mean here. So, thank you. I haven't noticed that button yet. Okay, so I don't have to switch between these. We have the run ready, then we should get the crawling. And then the jump. Then the fall. So yeah, they mentioned it in the release notes that what's more important are the keyframes. These styles are mainly just a suggestion for the AI, so it doesn't affect that much, but there are some differences that we will see. So we now have all of these characters with different styles, and it's quite similar in this case, but maybe if we look at the side view, there you can see that there are differences, like they all start with different speed. Some of them is kind of moving backwards, and actually a couple of them, I'm not sure which ones, but yeah, we can look at how they are different. So this is what I thought about the animation for the any type. And then yeah, I set up this file in a way so every 100 frame there is a different one. So here I have a kind of working pose. I used Mixamo animations to get poses, to retarget it to Cascadeur, and only kept 1 or 2 frames. So it will go from here to here. So this is something that for the walking, but you can see the jumping is actually kind of like more lightweight or a more happy walk. So you can look at different styles. I didn't want to waste your time, so I don't want to generate all of these animations here in the stream, but yeah, I prepared this. So also the combat ones is there is a bit of a hop, as you can see there at the end. Sorry. Yes. So yeah, you can get different styles, and there is one for running. So here I have a more running pose, and it will end a bit further here. I think these are the same poses, or yeah, it's mirrored only. I think there is less difference, and also I think because of the tangents, or I'm not sure if it was like this, but there is a bit of blending at the end, so it's not as smooth at the end. But if you only want to use the middle part of the animation, then this can be really useful. I also have a crawling animation, or crawling poses. So the character is on all 4, and it will crawl forward. In these cases, I haven't noticed that big of a differences with different styles. But yeah, if you have seen that for the walk, there is more difference, but they are not the same. If you look at here from the side view, you can see some of them still starts with different interval. And I think this is a great animation to look at the fulcrum detection, because there was a lot of improvement there as well. I will select point controller mode and look at for only the first character. If we look at from the side, for example, Actually, I can hide the other ones, I think, so they don't mess up, or it makes it more visible. What I want to show is, because if you have tried fulcrum points, or if you have tried such animations in previous versions, I found that the knee, the elbow, and the body points were not always correctly set up for detection of as fulcrum points. Also, if I enable the ground, you can see that the left arm, I was pointing at my screen, but you can see that the left arm is quite high above the ground, but it should be a fulcrum point, and it's detected correctly now. As in the previous version, I don't think that would be detected. You can also use the old version, but this works much more reliably, I found. Yeah, that's also described in the description, in the release notes, how you can use that, how you can turn on the old version. So let's go still with the jumping, but yeah, it's quite hard to enable now with all of these characters in the scene. I also just a moment, and we are ready. So the next one is the jumping. For this I have one frame on the ground. Let me reposition a bit so it's more visible. Right. One frame in the air, and next one is also on the ground. And if we look at the generated animation, it's again quite similar, but you can see that the jumping, there is also a bit of a twitch there, but you can, and I think you should use the cleanup tool for this when you're generating animation, especially if you want to edit it afterwards. And again, from the side view, they are all different. Of course, the keyframes are exactly the same, because that's how the tool works. So it doesn't have too much time to differentiate here. But here, especially at the landing, you can see that the crawling one is for some reason a bit higher, the arms, and the jumping is lower compared to the others. Yeah. So a couple of more examples. If I can switch. This is the falling animation, so there is this ground pose, and yeah, they generally work well. And for the acrobatic, I was a bit too ambitious again with the backflip animation. We have a couple of poses. It's a bit hard. Yeah. So these are the key poses, and yeah, it doesn't work yet. But everything else worked fine. And the last one is for the combat animation. I use the same sidekick that we have seen with the tangents. If the UI responds, it's a bit slow. I will, yeah, probably streaming also hard for my PC. So it wasn't this difficult as I tested, but it wasn't this slow, but yeah, it works. And the playback is fast, so only changing something. Maybe I can tweak the UI so it's faster, but yeah, it's good enough for now. Yeah, and the kick is also, you don't have too many frames to play with, or in-betweening tools to have different styles, but you can see that here the lag is a bit lower for the jumping. So yeah, I think that's all. I will close this scene so the other ones won't lag. And I think there are no questions, so we can look at constraints. So for this, I rigged the katana in Blender. This is the katana from Polyhaven. And if we look at it, I kind of followed the weapon rigging tutorial from the official Cascadeur channel, but I didn't set it as in the weapon location. I just rigged it in a separate scene. Probably this is not the best option. You should probably follow the official guide, but here I think it's more visible to see how switching between different constraints works. So what I want is to be able to switch between a left-handed and right-handed sword. And for this, I changed a little bit the CASCII characters, so the weapon.r joint is located, so I can copy its position and paste the weapon position, and it will be perfectly aligned, kind of. So I can set up the constraints in point controller mode. I will hide the center of mass for the sword because it's a bit distracting. And the way it's done, I can search for the hand triangle here. This is the right hand, and select it in the outliner, and then select all of the points of the sword, and in the commands there are constraints and point constraints, and there should be a constraint section, and now it's already visible that there is a hand right triangle. I will also do the same for the other arm, so I will select the left triangle, the points, and then point constraint. And so there is no point. I think I set up fast key. Yeah, if I press 0, the points of the sword is selected. So there is now no constraints active, and if I move the hand, actually I want to ask it again, then the sword won't follow. But if I undo and press 0, so I can now select in point controller mode or auto posing controller mode also the point controllers of the sword. Now I can enable it, and if I now move it, then the sword follows it perfectly. But if I would want to change to the other hand, I could copy the position of this weapon slot, then go back here. I will select the points with the 0 shortcut, change the constraints. So previously this was you had to change between the index of the constraints, and you also had a boolean to enable or disable it. So it's much more convenient to use a drop down and setting it up. So now it works with the other hand as well. Yeah, so this is an easy way if you want different constraints, like you can add a scabbard, or what's the English word for the holder of the sword on the side, and constrain it there. Yeah. And also, I'm not sure how was it with deleting the constraint, but now you can choose which one to delete. So I can delete the right one, and I think I need to select it again. Yeah, I only have the left one enabled. Yeah, but yeah, if you are in point controller modes, the constraint will have these red dots. This was an older update, I think. So there are no questions, so I think we can move on to video mocap. And yeah, I won't do mocapping live because it's quite a long time and yeah, it would be boring. But I use these videos that I provided on Gumroad. Yeah, they are not ideal because here I'm on the sun, then I go into the shadow. But actually in this case it worked quite well. So this diagonal direction is recognized. There is a bit of foot sliding, but not much, so it can be cleaned up. You would also need, yeah, you would definitely want to clean up, especially this popping and of the body, and the arm and the shoulders are dropped quite a lot. But this previously I think wouldn't work. I also tried a couple of motion actoring references, if you are familiar with those. But these two examples, actually, I don't have the last one open. Let me open it. So I found that moving sideways and diagonal, it works quite well. Here I'm checking first how it recognizes sideways to the camera, and then I didn't see what I record, so for a couple of frames it lost me because of this bush or this flower pot. But then it recognizes correctly. Then I tried a cartwheel, and yeah, it's still not very good. I found that most of these AI recognitions are quite bad upside down. I've done some testing with I'm not sure what that Python module is from Google that draws the points on the body and get the coordinates of each body parts and like the wrists and ankles. It really struggled with upside down poses, but I think Quick Magic is not that bad, but I need to do some testing there, how good it is with upside down character. And then I also wanted to check moving towards the camera, and for this it's quite rough, but it's definitely better than it was. So it moves forward. When I was further away, it didn't recognize it that well. But as I move closer, I think it recognized the floor better. I'm not sure what happens here, but then it is a bit better. I've also seen on the Discord there are other people tested it and they had more success. So maybe something to do with my reference here. But yeah, it generally works well. Also, if you are working with references, I haven't checked it, but the path of the file, of the textures and everything should be now in relative path. So hopefully if you are moving your folder around, it won't break. For example, I usually switch between my PC and my laptop, and I have some synced Cascadeur files. I have to re-import the references if I want to work with them, but now it should work well. I need to test that a bit, but it's not something I can easily test it live. So I think that's all about video mocap. For the ballistics, I only made a really quick animation. I actually just modified two Mixamo animations. So there is this drop kick and the jump. And let's enable the physics assistant for both characters, but I have it set for the interval. So I want the whole interval there. You can see there are different color codings as well as previously. So I think the change is that there is this deeper green when the character is stable. Then, like, let's actually just turn it on for only one character. Maybe this one. So yeah, there is this lighter green when only one leg is in fulcrum point. Then when there is no fulcrum points, then this is orange. I have ragdoll enabled and not the other auto physics. And yeah, as I was enabling it for 2 characters, there is this blue one, which, as I've noticed, this is when the 2 characters collide. And this is a feature only for the Pro version. And a little bit of shameless plug, I have a discount code and an affiliate link in the description if you want to switch to Pro. But everything else, I think, works as even in the free version. Right. But if you want to do this manually, you could actually enable, you can enforce fulcrum points with this button. But you need to do it for the interval when the 2 characters collide and for every fulcrum point. So if you can afford the Pro, it's really worth upgrading for this. And also retargeting, I think, and maybe we will see the Android version this year. So yeah, but that's about the Pro version. So here, something that's actually really fun, I've tried it before, is I will only enable it for this character and only for the part where the kick happens. And I want to use ragdoll. So just a couple of seconds for the calculation. It's a bit too strong. Poof. When I first tested it, it was working much better. I think I've changed settings here, or I'm not sure. It was working much better. Maybe I should actually disable and first work on the first animation so it's more physically accurate. I will snap it. I will only snap it for the keyframes for now. Oh, but I should do it for the whole animation, not... Oh, I know what I did wrong. I didn't check the whole interval, but let's move forward with this. And then we will do the ragdoll physics only for the selected interval. So I will disable it and work with the second character. Yeah. Okay, I now enable the ragdoll. I think 80 was great. Okay. Yes. So this is quite fun to play with. And yeah, you can play with the settings, with the stiffness multiplier to have more stiff or more loose body and such. But yeah, this should now handle better this interaction in the air. Just stick to the feet of the surface. Disable the constraint touch point settings in ragdoll to not let the second character stick to the feet of the first. Okay. Thanks. Yeah, it's disabled for now. Yeah, I didn't enable the work on interval. So these are all the scene files I prepared, but there are a couple of other updates. So I already talked about the fulcrum detection. There is more explanation about it, how it works on Discord by Duke in the announcement channel. So if you're interested, check it out. I'm not pretending that I fully understand it, but it kind of looks how how close it is to the ground, how fast it moves compared to the neighboring frames and such. So there is a clever algorithm behind it. Before that it used only the speed and radius of the point, which are now ignored, and if you want these to work you need to enable it in the settings. And I will go back maybe between the in-betweening for this scene to show that there are new commands. One of them is keyframe reduction. If you have seen my other video, I have a similar script, but this is actually better than mine. So I won't update it in the future, and I will update the Gumroad page for it. So you can see that you should use this built-in script. You can set how many keyframes you want. You can keep the first and last frame. This is something that I didn't have, and it's quite useful. And also you can set fixed interpolation or not. So if you click it, there will be now these. It will remove every second and third frame, and yeah, it will keep only every, yeah. Hopefully it's understandable. You need to undo it twice. Yeah. Or only once. That's interesting. So the section about this preserve the first and last keyframe wasn't too visible because it was divisible by 3, I think. +1. Animation script, let's say, I think maybe 7. Yeah, you can see it keeps the last. Also, there is one new. You only need to undo it once. It was just a bit of lag. Okay. And other script is the inverse selection, also in the animation script. Or invert selection. So if you select the arm, you can invert the selection and the whole body. I also checked what happens if I select point controllers and also joints, for example. So you can see that there are points also, and yeah, it works. I don't know what I was expecting, but yeah, it now selects every point and every joint that wasn't selected. So, and also it works with point controllers. It's not the best scene for this. Maybe this one, because I have active points here, but I had to retarget it. Anyway, I can activate it easily. So if I now select maybe just the leg, the other point controllers will be selected. I want to take a look at this more because I wasn't able to get point controllers with the Python API. So I'm interested in how this works. Also, I've noticed, this is not so flashy to demonstrate it, but saving the files is much faster than it was. So there was a lot of complaints about that, and it's something I'm happy about also. There is also a new section for the camera. I'm not sure what scripts were here, but I don't know what the untwist animation script does. I don't think this was here before, but maybe it was. So let's actually open up the release notes, but I think that's all. And if there are no questions, I think I've talked about resetting the tangents, the direction, trajectories, fulcrum points as well. Yeah, also all parts of the auto physics is now enabled. Previously it was only the physics corrector, now everything else is, just to keep in mind. And what else? User interface, there is a collapsal button in the outliner. It's also a good user experience or quality of life improvement. There is a bit of a typo here. Yeah, so the twin machine is now here also, and you can move it to a second monitor or anywhere you want if you want to use it. I'm not sure what would be a good solution because the scene, yeah, it was removed because the scene settings is quite crowded. I'm not sure what would be a great solution for have it more user friendly, or because I only found using a couple of these, it would be nice to have them more accessible. I'm not sure, maybe you could reorder them or hide them and or pin them so it's always on top. But yeah, it's good that I don't use the twin machine that often, but I think for professional animators it's quite important. Okay, what else? Camera commands. Yeah, these commands we talked about. Also 3D connection mouse support with some limitations. I don't have those, so I couldn't try it out. But I think these are, oh yeah, the node editor I wanted to show. So I don't really use the node editor that often, so I had to look up a little bit, but it used to open really slow, and now it's much faster. Plus we have this loading bar. I have the UI scale increase, so it's not the most visible here. So something you could do is to have the point, to be able to change the point color of these points, the direction controllers, and or the limb directions. And you can see that it has a point behavior, but it doesn't have the use color as in with these points. Here you have the use color boolean and the float for the color, and you can actually add these behaviors. Yeah, some little bit of an issue I found if I make it I make it small, the node editor, then I can't open it again. So I have to close it and open it. Let's increase this a bit, and I have the limb direction, and I want to look at the point behavior. So I would need to add a boolean for the use color and the float for the color. So I can add a bool, and I think I need static boolean. Where did I add it? Okay, it's there. So this one is the part that for me it's not so straightforward. This would be use color. So I need to press Ctrl and press here. Yeah. So if I hold down Ctrl and click on this, and the selected variable will be inserted for the behavior, and I need a float. It's a vector f3, I think. Vector 3f here, and also switch to static. I want to get more into the node editor because it's quite useful, but I haven't really used that much. You need to know a bit of vector math, and it was quite a long time ago when I used it or learned it in university. So now I have the use color boolean, and the color float here for the direction point, and let's set it to red. So actually I could I could have set it in advance, but I only looked up how to use the node editor a couple of hours before the stream. All right, so it's been an hour, and I think we've covered everything. So about the node editor, yeah, it's much faster. It used to load up really slow, for me at least, but actually it wasn't that bad, but it's definitely better than it was. Right. And I think that's all. So thank you guys for watching, and let me know if you tried out any of the scene files that I provided. So if I should provide it in the future, or just keep a demo like this, or if you prefer a more edited kind of live stream. Thank you. All right. Yeah, maybe we'll repeat this stream if you liked it, and see you guys maybe in the next video. I want, if a little bit of spoilers, I want to try out animating the dragon kick from the new Karate Kid movie, but I will start on that next week only. I will take a bit of rest this weekend. So have a great rest of the week.